let's talk The Witcher, Sirens of the Deep, because this animated film, it's got everything. We're talking forbidden love, dark magic, sea monsters, and, of course, Geralt doing what he does best, saving the day. But this isn't your typical monster hunting adventure. This time we're deep in the waters of Breammervord, where humans and merpeople are on the brink of war, and there's some serious betrayal going on. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. So what's really going on behind the scenes? Who's stirring the pot? And what's the deal with Agloval and Shinaz's crazy love story? We're about to dive into all of that, and trust me, the ending will have you questioning everything. Plus, we'll talk about how this film's ending differs from the books, and why it works so well on screen. If you haven't watched the movie yet, then be careful for spoilers, and grab your swords and your potions, because we're about to break it all down.
Aw, would you look at those two?
Can't tell if they're frolicking or
The Forbidden Romance. At its core, Sirens of the Deep brings us to Breammervord, a coastal town embroiled in conflict between humans and merpeople. The main plot centers around the forbidden romance between Agloval, a young prince of Breammervord, and Shinaz, a mermaid. Their love is controversial, given that Agloval is a human prince, and Shinaz, being a mermaid, can never offer him a traditional heir. However, it's their love that sparks the chain of events, which eventually leads to an epic clash between these two factions. But what starts as a forbidden romance turns into a complex, dangerous web of conspiracies, magic, and, of course, monsters.
I stood up for you! Basim was mine!
The true villain revealed: Melusena's vengeance. The first significant twist we learn in Sirens of the Deep is the true villain behind the escalating tensions between humans and merpeople. At the center of this conspiracy is Melusena, the evil aunt of Shinaz. This revelation is a game changer, as we discover that Melusena is driven by a deep thirst for vengeance. Years ago, Melusena's sister, Dahut, stole her lover, Basim, causing Melusena's heartbreak. The bitter feelings of betrayal eventually festered into a desire for revenge, one that would take her down a dangerous path. Melusena's transformation into a sea witch. As we dig deeper into Melusena's backstory, we learn that her inability to give Basim a child led to the merpeople king marrying her sister instead. This was a critical turning point for Melusena. She felt humiliated, rejected, and powerless, which likely led her to delve into dark magic, eventually transforming into the sea witch we encounter in the film. With her newfound powers, she becomes the mastermind behind the plot to ignite a war between humans and merpeople. She's willing to go to any lengths to make sure that her love story, her broken heart, is avenged.
Run, Melusena!
The conspiracy, King Usvelt joins forces with Melusena, but her plan is more than just personal revenge. She's not just seeking to destroy Dahut. She's targeting the entire peace between the two species. In a desperate attempt to shift the balance of power, Melusena conspires with King Usvelt, Agloval's father, to kill innocent human fishermen and pearl divers, making it look as though the merpeople are responsible for these attacks. It's a deeply twisted plan, and she's willing to use any means to manipulate Agloval into believing that the merpeople are enemies. Geralt of Rivia to the rescue, but just as things seem on the verge of spiraling out of control, Geralt of Rivia steps in. The Witcher's arrival shifts the course of the story and brings an end to Melusena's machinations. In the final showdown, Melusena, in a last-ditch effort to eliminate Geralt, uses her dark magic to transform into a kraken, a massive sea monster with octopus-like limbs. Despite her immense power, Geralt's determination to protect innocent lives gives him the edge. In an intense battle, Geralt kills the kraken, ultimately putting an end to Melusena's reign of terror. The potion and Agloval's ultimate sacrifice. With Melusena out of the picture, the situation finally begins to calm. Geralt's intervention has saved both the merpeople and the humans from a devastating war. But there's still one more twist waiting. Melusena's last act before her death was to give Shinaz a magical potion. This potion has the ability to transform Shinaz into a human. The idea was that Shinaz could drink the potion, become human, and reunite with Aglaval, thereby securing her place in the human world. However, Shinaz hesitates, unsure if Aglaval would be willing to make the same sacrifice. In the film's heart-wrenching conclusion, that Aglaval makes the ultimate sacrifice. He understands that love, no matter the species or the challenges, requires sacrifice. Rather than asking Shinaz to give up her identity as a mermaid, Aglaval drinks the potion himself, transforming into a merman. He tells his father, King Usvelt, that there is nothing left for him in the human world. Aglaval is leaving behind his human identity and his kingdom to live with Shinaz in the ocean. This is a moment of pure selflessness. Aglaval's decision marks the culmination of his character arc, one where he chooses love over pride and tradition.
If you saw beyond your pride, lives could have...
King Usvelt's pride leads to his downfall. Aglaval's sacrifice is symbolic, and it is also a personal rejection of his father's oppressive rule. King Usvelt's ego, pride, and refusal to understand his son's desires lead to the loss of both of his sons. Aglaval's departure, along with the death of his illegitimate son Zalest during the battle against Meluzina, signals the fall of Usvelt's power. His kingdom is left in ruins, a barren land devoid of the future he had imagined.
But there are still pearls and greed and bruised egos.
Geralt's realization, the peace may not last, but even though the two kingdoms have momentarily avoided a catastrophic war, Geralt, being the realist he is, recognizes that this peace won't last forever. King Usvelt is unlikely to let go of his anger and his desire for vengeance. The conflict is far from over. Still, in the end, Aglaval and Shinaz find happiness together, and their love story, though tragic, carries a sense of hope.
Sharing a life?
I told you, I found it wise.
Geralt and Essie Davin's doomed romance. Meanwhile, Geralt's own personal journey continues. After the events in Bremervoord, Geralt parts ways with Essie Davin, Jaskier's childhood friend. Their romance, while meaningful, was never meant to last. Geralt is still haunted by memories of Yennefer, and Essie, though she shares a brief and passionate connection with him, knows that their relationship can never go beyond the moment they shared. She has her own life to live, with a nephew and a mother to care for. Geralt, on the other hand, has the road ahead of him, filled with monsters to hunt and journeys to undertake. Their relationship ultimately serves as a reminder that, for Geralt, true love has always been a complicated and painful journey. The ghost of Yennefer still looms large in his heart, and while he briefly finds solace with Essie, it's clear that he's still not over the one woman who has left an indelible mark on his soul. Geralt and Jaskier's next journey. After parting ways with Essie, Geralt and Jaskier set off on their next adventure, heading toward Caingorn. This journey, of course, is a nod to the events of The Witcher Season 1, Episode 6, where Geralt meets Bork 3 jackdaws and embarks on the quest to hunt a green dragon. It's in this new chapter that Geralt reunites with Yennefer, perhaps rekindling their old flame, or at the very least addressing the unresolved tension between them. How the movie's ending differs from the book. Now, let's take a quick look at how the movie's ending compares to the original short story, A Little Sacrifice. The main difference lies in the way the romance between Agloval and Shinaz unfolds. In the story, Shinaz sacrifices her mermaid identity to gain legs and live on land with Aglaval. In contrast, the film takes a more unique route by having Aglaval transform into a merman to live in the ocean with Shinaz. This change is a notable deviation from the book's conclusion, but fits well within the scope of the animated film. Geralt and Essie's romance. In the short story versus the film, the second major difference is in Geralt's relationship with Essie. While the movie sticks to the same basic premise as the short story, it diverges in its treatment of Geralt and Essie's romance. In the short story, Jaskier the Bard reflects on Geralt and Essie's doomed relationship years later, writing a song to memorialize their brief but poignant connection. This bittersweet ending fits well within the structure of a short story but would have been difficult to pull off in a film. In the animated movie, the romantic storyline between Geralt and Essie is given a more immediate, emotional conclusion, fitting the medium better than the distant, reflective tone of the book.
What passed for love in my childhood was a cold patch of hate.
Why the film's ending works better than the books. Ultimately, Sirens of the Deep isn't just an action-packed animated film. It's a story about love, sacrifice, and the consequences of choices. The film's ending, while different from the book, offers a satisfying conclusion to the key character arcs. A global sacrifice, Geralt's bittersweet departure from Essie, and the looming tension of a never-ending conflict all come together to create a story that's both heartbreaking and hopeful. Our nerdy thoughts. And with that, we wrap up our analysis of The Witcher, Sirens of the Deep, and its ending. What did you think of the movie's conclusion? Do you prefer the film's version of Aglaval and Shinaz's love story, or do you think the book's ending was more impactful? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe for more Witcher content. Until next time, may the wind be at your back and the monsters stay far away.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.